Hey everybody, we are live. Welcome to another edition of Boston Straight Shooters. I'm one of the hosts, Steve, aka Negative Ned. Frank is away on business, so as usual, we'll do our best to hold down the fort while he's gone. This is the show we talk about the Patriots, the Bruins, the Celtics, and the Red Sox. Get you all caught up to speed and give some opinions on the goings on over the last week, and hopefully get you guys' thoughts as well. Without further ado, we'll kick things off. Give me a chance to post the link so you guys can join the show. We definitely have a lot to cover. Some good news and some not so good news from the Red Sox and also from Patriots training camp. Both those teams have had a mixture of good news and bad news. So let's start with, before we get into them, we're going to start quickly with Bruins news. The Bruins have hired a new AHL coach for the Providence Bruins. They named former Providence Bruins captain Trent Whitfield as the 14th head coach in franchise history. He replaces Ryan Munganell. He was the coach, and he accepted a assistant coaching position with the Vancouver Canucks. So kind of a big loss the last 2 years. Ryan did a good job with Providence. They were one of the top teams in the league last year and the year before, I believe. And I forget. This past year, I think they got knocked out in the first round, but I think the year before that they played in the Calder Cup Finals. I think I'll have to go back and double check that. But Trent Whitfield has been an assistant coach with Providence for the last 10 years, and he's part of their player development staff. So, he also stepped in as the de facto head coach at times when Ryan Munganell was out for whatever reason. Again, just mentioned, he's part of their player development staff, and he's says here the Bruins continue to stockpile the organization with members of the core group of Bees players who were on the team before, during, and after the 2011 Stanley Cup winning season. He was on the team briefly in 2010 at the end after David Krejci got hurt when he got slashed on the wrist. That was a huge loss. I'm not gonna revisit that misery. It says here the trend is no accident. Continued testament to how special the group was on the ice, their ability to take what made them special as players and pass it along to the next generation. That will be Whitfield's responsibility, along with former players Marco Sturm. Zdeno Chara has a role in the organization now, and Adam McQuaid, who is the director of player development. So I kind of hate it a little because they just use so many former guys in these roles. Bear with me for half a second here. They use so many of these guys, and they have not gone outside the organization enough, in my opinion, to get guys. I will say in Sturm's case, yes, he's a former Bruin, but he did spend time with Chicago or San Jose, and I'm drawing a blank, as the minor. I think it's Chicago minor league head coach there in the AHL. So he did get it was the Kings. I'm sorry, it was the LA Kings. He was there, and coached in the AHL. So he got a taste of a different organization. I don't know if Whitfield has had any coaching experience outside of Providence. So I'd have to do a little more digging. But best of luck to them. They have some talent down there that drafts. I think are while they're still not A drafts, there are a handful of guys down there that you know could hopefully make an impact on the future. I'll use Michael DiPietro as one of them coming up this year now after being in Providence for a couple of years. I would say Matthew Padra, who was sent down last year. He's another young guy that hopefully will be able to make a leap in a couple of years. I don't see him being able to help this year, but we'll see. He's a talented kid. I hate to see them give up on him unless they were to use him as part of a trade for an upgrade somewhere. And so that's part of his development. With the summer going on, there's really not a lot going on with the Bruins. So I think we'll move along. We're going to start with, I think we're going to go to Patriots training camp. The training camp started last week. And, they had a bunch of walkthroughs and whatnot. They had their first padded practice today. There's some, standout guys. Keishon Boutte has been a standout so far. There's a lot of trade rumors involving him, or, as far as like what the team is going to do with him. I don't want them to trade him. I think that, the rapport that he has with Drake May, according to the reports down there, he's been the number one receiver in camp. He's looked the best so far. And I don't think it's easy to dismiss how important he is to Drake May. And, they talk about him playing the same position as A.J. Brown and not getting that many reps. Well, I would keep him as insurance in case A.J. Brown goes down, and I would find a way to use him with A.J. Brown on the field. I mean, we've been talking about this for a couple of weeks now. I know that they have Dobbs is an outside guy, but I would prefer he played inside and utilize and maximize the resources you have and find a way to figure it out. Now, Dobbs is a guy that hasn't looked that great in camp so far, from what I've heard. A.J. Brown has had some struggles. He said he's got probably like 90% of the playbook down or whatever. But, up until today, I guess him and Drake May have not been on the same page. But today in camp, Drake May was 4 of 5 throwing to A.J. Brown, and all 4 of those completions were for touchdowns. So I think that early on, when they're doing like the walkthroughs and they're not really showing that much, it's really difficult to get a read until they put the pads on and start going at each other, what it's going to look like. And, the early struggles or early success, in the first couple of days doesn't tell everything. I think it, how it is around here in Boston, everything's overblown. Everything is either, heaven with Nirvana or the sky's falling, one or the other. And it's only 2 days with the training camp. And the guys on sports radio, they can't help themselves, because their motto is, well, we have a show to do today, so we got to talk about what's today. Fine. A.J. Brown, great today. Yesterday, not so great. What are you gleaning from that? You're trying to translate that stuff into like how he's going to look in September when they start playing. You can't tell anything. And now, because the preseason is condensed down from 4 games to 3, and they don't have traditional preseason like they used to, you may only get one half of one game out of the 3 to see what the regulars are going to look like. And so you're still not going to really know anything. I just think that, everything gets like too crazy, too hyped up, too overblown the first week of training camp when they're not really doing anything but half walkthroughs, and they're not really going full speed. They don't have pads on. It's really hard to tell what like an actual 11 on 11 drill will look like. But listen, they have other, a whole slew of issues. There's going to be a whole bunch of scuttlebutt about, who's going to make the team, who's not, who looks good, who doesn't. Every day it's going to be different. Right now, Kyle Williams was a guy that, according to reports, looked like the 7th wide receiver and looked like he was on the bubble of getting cut. I guess today he had a better day. And the reason he's going to be the 7th guy is he doesn't play special teams. So Efton Chisholm, who does punt returns and can do kickoff returns too, probably has a little bit of a leg up there because he's, he has more versatility. So, anything can happen. Injuries can happen. Guys can win spots. Kyle Williams can still win a spot. It's still too early to throw him away. But the guy I would not throw away is Kayshon Boutte. I don't know what the thought process is there, why you would even think about getting rid of him right now. I know his contract is he's in his 4th year. I don't know if they picked up his 5th year option. I didn't get that information. Some sports radio guys were like, just give him a bump in pay. Give him another $1 million or $2 million on his deal this year, keep him happy, and keep him. And I think either way they should keep him. That should be a real no-brainer. Looking at some other positions, offensive line. So far, it looks like Will Campbell has looked good so far in camp. He's winning one-on-one battles against some guys that are going to be starters, which is a good sign. I want all the short arm, alligator arm, garbage talk. I want all that stuff squashed. I don't want to hear any more about it. The sports radio guy is still not sold that he's a left tackle. I am glad that they're sticking with that. Stick with him. Let him have another year, a whole year with this group, and let him learn from the mistakes he made last year. I think he will be better than he was last year. I think the injury at the end of the year hurt him. He was probably lost a little bit of confidence, and so understandable in your first year. He knows what to expect now. I like the makeup of the offensive line. I like the guy they got from the Jets, Vera Tucker, as the left guard. I like moving Jared Wilson to his natural position at center. And Caleb Lomu, who they drafted as the left tackle out of Utah, has been practicing as the right tackle because they are putting Morgan Moses basically on a pitch count, if you will, to minimize his damage. They put him on a specific veteran rest and maintenance schedule to keep him fresh. That makes perfect sense. 34, 35 years old. We've talked about this. He's had a history of injuries, and Caleb Lomu or anybody else that's on the line is going to benefit from his tutelage. So I think it's good. I think that Caleb Lomu so far looks like a good pick. Hopefully he sticks, doesn't get hurt. They're going to need depth no matter what, and I like what I've been hearing so far from that group. Injuries. It looks like Carlton Davis got banged up during the practice on Tuesday. He missed the practice today. He suffered a hamstring injury, and there's no announcement for his time to return. So same thing Christian Gonzalez had last year, hamstring injury. Those can be tricky. You're typically talking 2 weeks minimum. I think, you never want to rush guys back. I think that the Patriots, whether it was them or Gonzalez that took the extra time before having him come back, was the smart thing to do. Again, the first part of the season, you want Christian Gonzalez or Carlton Davis the first 4 games and then have him tweak and be injured again for another 6 weeks, or you want to let them ride it out. Okay, maybe they missed the first part of the season, but at the end, when it's most important and you're making a playoff run, that's when you need those guys the most. And Christian Gonzalez proved last year, being healthy at the end, and being basically their best player in the Super Bowl, that was the right course of action. And of course, everybody around here's got to criticize and nitpick every little thing. And Carlton Davis won't escape because he's making $20 million a year. It's the second year of his deal, signed a 3-year deal. It was a good signing. He's a good player. And so ride it out and let's see what happens. Charles Woods, cornerback, also got dinged up Tuesday in practice. They say it's nothing major. He was set to practice today, possibly filling in Davis's spot. I didn't get to hear if he was out there or not today, so we'll stay tuned for that. But, that's a good sign that he's not banged up because they're going to need depth. Listen, it's the beginning. The first week is really not a lot to report or not a lot going on. They have another practice tomorrow at 10:15. I apologize. I forgot to post the practice schedule last week. I will post what's left of it, for this upcoming week, and then I want to say their first preseason game is the 13th, which is 2 weeks from tonight. So they'll have another 2 weeks of practice before that starts. So there's a lot that can happen. Not really much to report from the running backs. The tight end, I'm drawing a blank on his name now. Of course, that they drafted, big tall kid, 6'5", 6'6". According to the reports, he needs to bulk up a little bit, but he's looked good so far. And they definitely have needed a reliable backup to Hunter Henry. Not that the other guys were garbage, but they need a guy that can replace Hunter Henry in a couple of years and be like a number one guy. So stay tuned for more development on him. Hopefully he has a good camp and he can make an impact this year too. Let's move along to Christian Gonzalez contract news. This is actually, before I do that, we do have a couple more injury updates for Patriots. Harold Landry has been out, and there is no update on his injury or timetable to return. And Gabe Yakas, the second-round pick that was basically out because of a surgery that he had that was unbeknownst to the Patriots, signed his rookie deal. It's a 4-year deal for a little over $8.6 million. And basically, it was a knee procedure he underwent, and they're gonna take precautions with him, and he'll get up to speed at some point. All right, now on to the contract talks. Robert Kraft couldn't help himself earlier this week and basically spilled the beans a little bit and said that they offered Gonzalez the highest paid cornerback in the league. He says, we love him as a player and as a person. We made him an offer to make him the highest paid player to ever play that position, and also the highest contract in Patriots franchise history. So, he kind of threw it out there, and uh, the Gonzalez camp has been very quiet about it, and typically they try to keep the things behind closed doors. I think this is a unorthodox move for Kraft. There's all kinds of scuttlebutt about why he did this. There's been a perception about their spending, about how they near the bottom of the league. I think they were 27th in spending over the last 3 or 4 years, and I think he wants to put that perception to rest, and also maybe put some pressure on Gonzalez and his camp to get the deal signed. But it's not going to happen. They asked Christian Gonzalez about it, and he basically just said, "Hey, it's something we don't want to handle in the media. I'm going to keep that with my team." And just go on to practice and do his thing. He was out there. They asked him multiple times if he was going to be out there in full pads. He said, "I'm going to be here. I'm going to do what I can to get ready. I want to be out there with the guys and this and that." Not sure what the logic is there. Maybe a show of good faith. There's been scuttlebutt about, the deal's already in place. It's just a matter of, dotting the I's and crossing the T's. Some waiter from restaurant Strega, which is, I don't know, downtown Boston or wherever it is, took a picture with Gonzalez, and there was a note that said, highest paid corner or bust, 5 more years. So nobody knows if that's real or not. So listen, I think that, there's more to that too. There's the cornerback in Seattle, and I don't have his name in front of me right now, but he's due for a contract too. His agent is the same as Christian Gonzalez's agent. So, he is practicing with Seattle because they have a rule that they will not negotiate with players that hold out, and they're in the middle of selling the team. So there is scuttlebutt up there about them wanting to get a deal done, and they're trying to put pressure on these guys to sign these deals, and it's all semantics, and it's all it might not be what the number is as far as being the highest paid overall, either AAV, which is the average annual value, or the total. 4 years, 31.1 million, 5 years, 32. It's the signing bonus that everybody's focusing on, because the signing bonus that these guys are getting is like 90, 100 million bucks. They're getting 4 and 5 year deals, and they're getting 31 million a year, and 100 million of it's guaranteed. So I think there's two things going on there. You got these guys signing these contracts. It just happened. The guy in Cleveland leapfrogged the guy that was the highest paid corner by $100,000. Now it's like, okay, they're waiting for the Seattle guy to sign first and see what his number's going to be, and then have Gonzalez sign it and be like 100,000 over him. So there's all kinds of stupidness going on, because it doesn't matter which one of them guys signs these deals. Excuse me for 1 second. No, Frank. Stay here. All right. Well, pardon the interruption. I tried to ward off the mascots. Didn't work. All right. So yeah, listen, the whole, everybody's trying to outdo each other with these contracts and get the most. They're trying to get the most per year, and they're trying to get the most signing bonus, so that they're in line with each other. And somebody's going to be the highest paid, and then they're all going to leapfrog each other. And all the positions have been doing it. The wide receiver group kind of started it, as Justin Jefferson got X amount, and then, Lamar Chase over in Cincy got more than him. And then, the next guy that signed wide receiver got more than that guy. And then the defensive lineman, you had, I forget who it was, probably Max Crosby, $35 million. Then next thing you know, Myles Garrett got 40 with Cleveland. And then the dude in Dallas that got traded to Green Bay, I'm drawing a blank on his name right now, but he got 46. And now some other dude, I think in Philly, he just got 50 a year for 4 years or whatever, 5 years. So it's a game of leapfrog. All these contracts are going to get higher. The salary cap goes up every year. The NFL is making $1 gazillion, and these contracts are going to be out of whack. The hope is that, the Christian Gonzalez contract doesn't turn into 34, 35 million a year. He hopefully will sign soon. It'll be like 31 or 32, because they got to sign Drake May. His contract is going to be, this is his third year. Next year, he'll be up for, the same kind of deal. And he's going to get easily 65 to 70 million is what he's projected to get. And they'd be stupid not to give it to him, seriously. So, regardless of what kind of year he has, he's your franchise guy. And then he'll be the highest paid player in franchise history. And so these contracts, nobody's going to be the highest paid for long. Let's put it that way. All right. Stay tuned. We're definitely going to have more, training camp news as things goes along, now that we actually have guys out there in pads. But let's move along now. Let's move along to the Red Sox. Finally, their road trip. So they're on a road trip now. They're on a 9-game road trip. 9 or 10, I think. I think it's 10. They took 2 of 3 from I'm drawing a blank. Who the heck did they just play? This is awful. Excuse me. They took 2 of 3 from Toronto, I think, and then they're playing the A's now this week. So they got the A's and the Dodgers this week. They have taken 2 of 3 from the A's. They have one more game tonight with them. Sonny Gray's pitching tonight. They got to get a W tonight. And get 3 out of 4. And then play the Dodgers. They have 3 against the Dodgers starting tomorrow. And it's going to be I think they're going to get killed by the Dodgers. The Dodgers are too good. I don't know if they'll get swept. They might win 1 out of the 3, but I don't think they're taking 2 of 3, and they're definitely not sweeping them. So, listen, and after that, Monday is the actual trade deadline. Monday, I think it's 3 or 4 o'clock is the deadline. And, they got to continue to win these games. They've been doing good. They've won 6 series in a row now. They've been on fire for a month. And, it's to be seen whether they can keep it going. So far, so good. And, they're getting decent pitching. I mean, that's key. The key is they're getting decent pitching and they're getting timely hits, again, that they weren't getting before. This series so far against the A's, the strikeouts have been concerning. The guys left on base, that they're reverting back to the trend that we saw earlier. Excuse me again. They do this. They've been doing this. I listened to the guys on sports radio today complaining that, last night in the 8th inning, they had a chance to, had a guy on first, had a chance to bunt the runner over to second in a tie game, didn't do it. And then they had a chance again in extra innings, guy on second base, didn't bunt them over. Luckily, Monasterio hit a 2-run homer to give them the 4-2 win yesterday. But, the scuttlebutt is that the guys upstairs go downstairs and tell them, okay, done with the small ball, back to the analytic crap. And so it's back to 12 strikeouts a game, the last 2 games. This is not a new issue. We've been on this for 3 years now, at least minimum, maybe even 4, since we've been doing this show. Alex Cora dealt with it. They would have stretches where they would look awful because of the launch angle crap and the analytics and all that nonsense, the drive line crap. Then they would do small ball and they would play, the way they should be playing. This last month is the same thing. They got away from all the drive line stuff. They've been putting balls in play. And all of a sudden on this road trip so far with these A's, they're reverting right back to where they were. And I just think that the idiots upstairs, they get full of themselves because the team starts winning. They're like, okay, go back to, let's go back. You're going to go back to, the drive line crap because it's working. That crap doesn't work. And if Breslow had a half a freaking ounce of brains, knowing his job is on the line, he would not be pushing that. He should be leaving the status quo with the new manager because he's pushing all the right buttons and they're playing ball the correct way for the way the team is built. You don't have 30 home run mashers in the middle of your lineup to be trying to drive line it. So, dude, get your head out of your rear end and cut this crap out. Again, this makes me want to root against them. This makes me want to root for them to lose every single game. When I see this crap, when I see them swinging at bad pitches, striking out 12 times a game, 15 times a game, they're not doing the little things. They're not moving runners along. It really, irks the hell out of me. It makes me mad. And, it's like a big tease. They tease the crap out of everybody, and then next month, no matter what they do at the deadline, they're going to do this bull crap and they're going to fall flat on their face and they're going to lose. And then it's going to be, well, we made moves at the deadline and it didn't work. And so what I'm going to talk about now is that they did make a move last week. They traded starting pitcher Connolly Early for infielder Curtis Mead from the Washington Nationals. I do not like this move. I didn't like it. The injury to Curtis Mead notwithstanding, we'll touch on that in a minute. But, this deal here is, they traded for another young guy that has cost control. I think he's making $750,000 or whatever this year. He was actually designated for assignment by Chicago. He's been on 3 teams or whatever. He's been cut. He's got 17 home runs this year. His previous career high was 5. And now all of a sudden they think, he's going to be a 30 home run guy. I don't like it because they try to cheap out. If he didn't get hurt and he was hitting a couple home runs this week before the deadline, I bet you they wouldn't make another move. Now they don't have a choice because unfortunately for this guy, in his first game with the Red Sox, in his first at bat, he struck out. His second at bat, he got plunked on the wrist. Initially, they thought it wasn't going to be that bad. Then they did another X-ray and found out that he's got a broken wrist, and he's probably done for the year. So now they're forced to make a move, which, I think this is just me now, right? I think the baseball gods just gave Breslow and the Red Sox a what for and said, listen, no cheap move here. F you. You're going to go and do a real deal at the deadline. You're not going to half-ass it like you've been doing. And we're going to get this guy hurt. And you're not going to have him. So now your hand is forced. I think it's unfortunate for Curtis Mead. It's not a personal attack on him. I just don't like the Ocean State job lot mentality that these guys have, and I understand that it's difficult right now in the trade market because you're going to have to give up something to get something good. And there's a shortstop in Worcester now. He was in Double A. He just got promoted. Franklin Arias. He's the number 3 prospect in all of baseball. He's a shortstop. He's supposed to be the heir apparent to Trevor Story, and you may have to move him in a package to get a real bat now. Excuse me. And I don't. And you know what? Curtis Mead's playing third, and he's got the most errors at third. So you just basically got Rafael Devers back, only cheaper. And that's not a good deal. And you have Caleb Durbin over at third, and he's playing lights out. So I'm sorry. I would not move. And then, talking about moving Durbin over to second for Curtis Mead. Sorry. No, don't do that. I don't like that at all. Curtis Mead was playing second and should play second base. Now leave Caleb Durbin alone. Now that he's finally, corrected himself and is starting to hit. And he's playing good. He's playing good defense. Why move him? For a guy that's got the most errors in the league. No, sorry, not good enough. I don't want that. So the only thing they did good there is they put Mead at second base. And maybe he would be an upgrade from what they've had. I like Sigler. He's done a real good job. But they do need to upgrade shortstop because Monasterio's been playing there until they can get Kenneth Falefa back. And I don't know what his status is. I don't know if he's coming back. No one said a word. So, going back to the rumors now, the rumors are that they are eyeing a shortstop at the deadline. And, the guys that they're looking at are Miami Marlins Otto Lopez, the Angels Zach Nato, and the Nationals C.J. Abrams. Now, C.J. Abrams and Astros Jeremy Pena. I think the Red Sox already called on Pena and they were told no. So nothing's going to happen there. But, C.J. Abrams is a good player. He's a home run guy. That would be a good move. Otto Lopez, he would be a good move too. I think he's hitting 320 or something, 328. He would be an upgrade for sure. I would be okay with trying to trade for him. Zach Neto, I don't like him. He's one of those launch angle dudes, drive line guy. He's hitting 230 something. He's got 17 homers and like 120 strikeouts or whatever. Like, how about no? Nope, I don't want any more of that. He's basically Trevor Story. You already have that, and you're already paying him $26 million or whatever it is. No, not interested in that guy at all. So I'll say this: I would rather see the Red Sox do nothing than trade for him because he's not what you need. They need a guy that can hit in the lineup consistently and not just be a strikeout machine. It's not good enough. And I'll say this too because his name is not part of these rumors. But somebody called sports radio today and said that Ellie De La Cruz from Cincinnati would be a phenomenal pickup if the Red Sox could find a way to get him. I don't think the Reds would be nuts if they traded him. He's a dynamic guy. He's got everything. He's got speed. He's got a bat. He's a good player. I don't know what his metrics are for defense, but you'd have to give up like Roman Anthony, Arias, probably Duran, a pitcher. Like you'd have to give up like 4 or 5 to get a guy like him. I would do it. You're going to tell me, Roman Anthony, I don't really want to use him in a trade, but you're telling me you're going to trade him and get De La Cruz. I would do that in a second. Him and Bobby Witt Jr. That's another guy that's his name's been floated around rumor-wise amongst sports radio, but I don't think they can get him. He makes $30-something million a year, and he's got an 11-year contract. I think his contract runs through like 2034 or something. So I don't think they have a chance of getting him. He's a stud, though. Like, if you really wanted to make a huge impact and kick Trevor Story to the curb, I would do that deal in a second. There's nobody here that wouldn't. Um, but it remains to be seen. I mean, I think that pitching wise, uh, Breslow and his team, uh, even Andrew Bailey, I'll cut him some slack now because early on with that backwards stupid sweep of nonsense early on, I wanted to throw him away. I wanted to just kick him to the curb. But they've done a good job. The pitching staff is among the best in baseball. I want to say they still have the third or fourth highest, best ERA. The bullpen still tops, among the tops in ERA. They've really done a good job, and I'll give them an ounce of credit for that. But as far as like the hitting and the analytics and the metrics and all that nonsense, that drive line crap, it's still a huge pain in the neck. It's a thorn in my side. It drives me freaking absolutely insane. I can't freaking stand it, and I want it to stop. So I'm really curious to see what they're going to do. I have a funny feeling that it's going to be another cost certainty type guy. There was also a rumor that the Red Sox expressed interest in Rockies catcher Hunter Goodman. And the Rockies have asked for both the Red Sox and the Rays' number one prospects in a potential deal. He's under team control through 2029. Again, he probably makes the same as what's his name's making, Curtis Mead. He's probably making, not even $1 million if I had to guess. So he's cheap, but this guy is a home run hitter. This guy, and he's a home run or strikeout. I think he's gotten like 130 something strikeouts in 100 games this year. So he's on pace for over 200, but he's got 31 home runs already. He had 31 last year. He's got 31 home runs in 100 games. That's the kind of thump that the Red Sox need. Now, the problem is he's a catcher. And so there's definitely some concern that bringing him in to catch would disrupt the chemistry that Connor Wong and Nevarez have with the existing pitching staff. Both those guys, even though they're not really hitting great, have done a really good job. And, Frank definitely brought this up one of the last times he was with us and said, hey, sometimes when you make a move like that, you can disrupt the chemistry and screw it all up. And I could see that being the case unless they used him strictly at DH and let the guys catch and leave it alone, which he probably wouldn't be happy with. But, can you catch him once a week? Because I'll tell you, if it was me, I would catch him once a week, and I would catch him when the opener's starting the game, getting his ass shellacked, and then have Brian Bayo coming behind him, and then use him at DH the rest of the week. So you got 6 games in a week, 5 games you the DH, 1 game you catch, and the game you catch is going to be the shit bum game. Excuse my French, but that's where I'd use him because I'm not happy with that either. There was some talk about them going after starting pitching. Also, some talk about them going after relievers. I don't think they need pitching. Patrick Sandoval is not great, but at least he's a major league pitcher. He's going to give you 5 innings, maybe an occasional 6. So he's a number 4 guy. I'm not concerned with him. The guys that we need to stay on are going to be Sonny Gray, Ranger Suarez, who's got to stay healthy, Jake Bennett. Those are your top 3 guys, in my opinion, right now. And then you got Sandoval, number 4, and then you have the stupid opener thing. And I really wish that Bayo would get his head screwed on straight so he could start and give us 5 or 6 innings instead of waiting until the starter gets his rear end handed to him and then come in and give us 5 scoreless innings when we're already down 4-0. I mean, that does no freaking good. What's the point of that, dude? You know, uh, and listen, I wouldn't be upset if they traded Bale. I mean, that kind of makes no sense because right now, as the long relief guy, he's giving you zeros. He's pitching shutouts. So you kind of don't want to break up a good thing, but they would have to get a starting pitcher back. Somebody that's like a AAA slash 4A guy that you can plug in as number 5 in his spot and get rid of the opener nonsense. And again, this has been going on for 3 years now. Using the relievers as openers for the first inning or two, and then bringing somebody in to pitch another 2 or 3 innings or whatever. Like the whole opener thing sucks. It doesn't work. I hate it. It drives me insane. And I really wish that they would do something to fix it. And the other guys that they have that are injured, Tannehill, no update on him, no clue when he's coming back. Garrett Crochet, another guy that's been on the DL. I mean, that would be ideal to get him back. I mean, if they got him back, you'd have him, Sonny Gray, Suarez. There's your top 3. Bennett's 4, and Sandoval's 5. That's decent. Then you could trade Bale, and it wouldn't hurt. But you don't know if he's coming back. And at this stage, if he doesn't come back by mid-August, I just shelve him for the rest of the year then. Why bother? What's he going to do? He's going to come back 2 weeks left in the season when they're pushing for the playoffs and then hurt himself again, and then he's out for the whole 2027? Screw that. They've had enough of those. They already did that. Every time they get a guy, and I've hopped on this, and I'm going on a mini rant here, but Tannehill, elbow problem. We're going to shut him down, then give him the soft toss, then the rehab, whatever. But then next thing you know, he needs the Tommy John or whatever it is, surgery, and now he's out, and he lost it for the whole year and a half. Whatever the injury is that Crochet has, if he's not back by mid-August, I would just can it. And if they know that he's not going to be back for another couple of weeks, maybe you do trade for a starting pitcher. Trade for a bat, trade for a starting pitcher. You don't have to make a big splash pitching-wise. You can get, like I said, maybe there's a 4A guy. And I'm not talking about, James Paxton, retread, 30-something-year-old guy that's going to give you 4 innings, maybe 5, and stick him in the back end. No, I don't want that. Give me something else that, fits better so we can get rid of the openers. We need to get a guy in the 5th spot that can give you at least a minimum of 5 innings. No more of this 1 or 2 inning garbage. No more of these openers. No more Brian Bayo out there starting and then getting his head knocked off in the first inning. Like, dude, get your head on right, and you want to be a starter, then go earn it and prove it. I'm kind of surprised that they haven't at least tried him before the deadline, at least 2 starts to see if he could do it. And if he couldn't do it, then you can go back and use the openers again and then put him back in the pen. That's what I would have done, because then you know what you have and you could trade him. So I don't know the logic there. I don't get it. But he's got to get his head screwed on straight. And again, maybe he's the guy that needs to change the scenery. Maybe pitching here is too tough for him. I don't believe that, though. I mean, he had a good year last year. I think he had 11 or 12 wins, ERA 3-point-something, 3.3, whatever. He pitched pretty good. So I don't know what the issue is, but that's a guy that if he could get right and start the games and give you 5-6 innings, solid starts, that would be a major improvement for them. And they wouldn't have to necessarily trade anybody to make it work. So I don't know, but I'm done with the openers. I'm done with the Ocean State job lock crap. I would just say they're always in on this guy and they're always in on that guy and they're always in and they've done nothing to prove to us that they're actually going to do anything. There's a lockout coming for next season. I don't know. I don't see them spending big bucks on a bat when they don't know what the salary cap is going to look like next year that they're trying to put in, or what the luxury tax is, like whatever the financials are going to be for next year. I don't see them adding a guy that's making 25 or 30 million bucks to the payroll, unless you know John Henry okays it and gives Breslow the green light to make that kind of a deal. Watching the time now, we're cutting it kind of close. Let's move on from the Red Sox. Let's see what the trade deadline brings for them. Let's move on to the Celtics. There is a little bit of scuttlebutt with, Jayson Tatum, taking a supposed shot at Jaylen Brown this past week. Let me find my notes here. Give me half a second. So he was speaking at a summer camp hosted by his foundation for a bunch of kids. He shared a motivational message with the kids, and it says, if you read between the lines, it sounded like there was a little bit more behind it. He said, being around somebody that feels like they know it all, I don't want to be around that person. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room. I want to learn from somebody else. Listen, there was a comment made a couple weeks ago about Jaylen Brown from Colin Coward, and said that he had heard from league sources that Jaylen Brown thinks he's the smartest guy in the room. And so now, because Tatum made these comments, everybody's got to twist it and make something out of it. And, I know Frank for sure hates this. I'm sure if he was here, he would have his own rant, and rightfully so. I don't take it that way. I don't think he was giving a shot at Brown. I think he was, listen, it's a message you want to give to kids because you don't want their heads to get too big when they're small, and you're trying to make a good impression. Now, maybe he did. I don't think so. That's just my personal 2 cents on it. He doesn't strike me as the kind of guy that wants controversy in that way. He seems kind of like a mellow guy. There's scuttlebutt that, Jayson Tatum and his camp have been irked by Brown's comments about him, having this as his favorite season. And listen, maybe that's true. Nobody really knows. There's an article here I plucked, and this person's opinion is, did he plan to take a shot at Brown publicly? Probably not. But it's realistic that it's been sitting in the back of his mind, and given the opportunity, it just came out naturally. And this guy's opinion is, if Tatum is truly pissed at Brown and wants to beat him, that's good news for the Celtics, because they're going to get every chance to beat him. And, Brown wants to beat the Celtics, so you get the rivalry back. I mean, I don't, listen, some guys need extra motivation. Head coaches use the bulletin board material all the time. Belichick, famous for that, right? And we loved him for it. I don't know what extra motivation there is. I don't need any. I hate the Sixers. That was before Brown. So, I don't hate Jaylen Brown, and I don't hate any of the 76ers players. I just hate them because they're playing a team that I like. It's the same thing as the Yankees. I hate the Yankees. I hate the Canadians. There's just teams. They hate the New York teams, hate the Jets, hate the Giants. So there's teams, as fans, we're ingrained in, okay, I hate you, I don't like you. But it's the team, not the personal, I don't hate Jaylen Brown. I don't hate Embiid. I don't hate anybody on the team. We just hate them in general, and we want to beat them. That's all. And listen, I think that when the rivalries are good, there is genuine hate amongst the players for those teams. I can tell you that the Red Sox and Yankees in the 70s, for sure, It probably died a little bit in the 90s, and it came back in the early 2000s, where the hatred was real between the Red Sox and the Yankees. And so they hate each other, and you can see it. And so uh, I don't think that Jayson Tatum is that type of guy where he's going to be like, you know, extra motivated. I think just in general, he's going to want to beat Brown, and they're going to want to beat each other. And this is the same as like Magic and Bird. And I'm not saying that those guys are Magic and Bird. Don't twist that. I'm just saying they wanted to beat each other. You know, when you're playing against the best guys and you're playing against your former team, you always want to beat your former team. They always want to beat you. This happens every time. And I can guarantee you when Jaylen Brown goes off for 30 points against the Celtics the first time around, we're going to be saying, why can't we get guys like this? We do it every time. And so we should be looking forward to what it's going to look like when they face off against each other. And one more surprise news: LeBron James signed with Philly, 2-year deal, $8 million total, $4 million a year. Completely surprised. Nobody thought that he would take less than $50 million or whatever he's making. So it's clear that he wants to win a championship. They definitely improved Philly's odds as long as Embiid can stay healthy. So look, the Celtics definitely have some work to do, and it's going to be interesting to see what they can do with what they've got. And I'm looking forward to them. I'm looking forward to them facing off against each other. All right, time is winding down. Let's move on to the poll questions. Let's see. Do you like the Red Sox trade of Connolly Early for Curtis Mead? We had I like it 0, I hate it 40%, and it's just okay 60%. So nobody's as upset as I was. I'm in the I hate it camp, which is a little surprising. What position do you want to see the Red Sox get at the trade deadline? Hitting 100%, starting pitching 0, relief pitching 0. I think it's a no-brainer. Everybody wants to see more hitting. They need a real bat in the lineup, and we're just gonna have to wait and see what they do. Let's move along to the weekly predictions. Last week, I said that the Red Sox would pull off a surprise trade ahead of the deadline. Ding, ding, ding. They did pull off a surprise because nobody, and I would say nobody, had on their bingo card that Connolly Early was going to get traded for Curtis Mead. So that was a complete surprise, and I'm gonna count it as a W for me for this week for getting one right finally. Number 2, I said Jarren Duran would get traded this upcoming week or at the deadline. Wrong. He didn't get traded. It remains to be seen if he will be part of a deal. So I'm going to keep that as one of the predictions for this week. My other predictions, where they go? Whoops, that's not it. I say that they will trade for a bat, and it will be a shortstop. I don't think they'll get the catcher. And I hope it's Otto Lopez. That's the guy I'm hoping for. And if by some miracle they could get Ellie De La Cruz, I would be all in favor of that. But I'm not going to put names. I'm just going to say shortstop. It's a position of need, and I need a guy that can hit there. So there's those two. And my third prediction for this week is I think Christian Gonzalez this week coming up before we're back on will have signed his deal. I think that it gets done. I don't think they want to start going into the exhibition games with him not being signed. I would be completely shocked if A, he's not signed, and B, he's still practicing fully, a full participant in every practice leading up to the preseason games. So I not only predict he'll sign, I hope he gets signed. I hope it gets done, and we can put it all to rest, and we can all move along. That being said, we are out of time. I want to thank you all for watching. Thank you for the support. Thanks for voting in the polls. Thanks for the commentary. Be sure to catch us on YouTube, and we'll see you back here next week.